Hey everyone, welcome back. So it's that time again for our monthly update. So this time ending the month of August, starting off with September. So I figured I might as well show off my room, and then one of the big things I want to do is I want to get a bunch of my projects done. So as you can see here, got quite an abundance of kits. So a lot of them I've started on them, but have not gotten around to finish them. So I was thinking for the month of September, depending on what kits you, the viewers, are interested in, I'll take them out, and then in the next couple videos, I'll do a little bit of showing the kits, and a little bit of why I haven't been building them, or could be that lost interest or got distracted. But if anything, it will help me get a bunch of stuff done before it ends up becoming too late. So, get started. Start here in the corner. Have this mid-90s Testers Supercar 2 Pack, which included a Lamborghini Countach and a Lamborghini Diablo. The Countach I already built. The Diablo, on the other hand, I did get around to painting it, but never got around to actually assembling it. And then up here we got the Amt Big 1/16 scaled 55 Chevy, which I bought not that long ago. So that's still in the shrink wrap. Then here we have the Ford LN8000 Louisville line race car hauler, which was part of a race team set that I built. So that there's mostly together. Then here we got a 90s version of the Monogram 55 Ford pickup, which the law of that is still, that hasn't been opened up. It's been opened, but all the pieces haven't been out of the baggies. This Advent Revel Edition Porsche. I've had this for a little while, but as I was going through it, there were a bunch of parts that were missing, so I ended up building this into a barn find vehicle, all beat up shape. Then here we have the Monogram Chevy S10, which was fairly new, that I got at a clearance price at a hobby shop. Then we got the Revel 1980s Ford F-150, which I already built that up. And later on I'll show you some of the kits that were built up. Here's the mid-2000s Revel 32 Ford. That one of the big things with this is that on the kit it comes with a GM 350 or 327. So I figured for a Ford, it would only make sense to have a Ford V8. So I do have a flathead that I am planning on installing into the kit. The Challenger 1 with Mickey Thompson. This I already did a video on. I've got some of it assembled, but still need a lot of work done with this. As on that video, I mentioned that from reviews, the body itself is a real hassle to get on. Next, we have the newly released Revel Jaguar E-Type. Now, this one here, I haven't opened it yet, but from videos, I've seen that this is a pretty decent kit. Okay, down here, we've got a Ferrari F430 Scuderia Roadster. So, it's one of my supercar kits that I've got that I still really want to get around to building, but haven't had time. Then, back here, we've got the Bill Strop 72 Ford Bronco that I've also built up in my own fashion. Then here we got a 2012 Corvette Zr1, which which has been opened, but the bags are still sealed inside. Then here we got an 92 Dodge Viper from Revel, which you can tell this is definitely a early 90s style, how it has a teal colored box. So this one here I already built up. Then up here we have a sprint car, which is still in the original shrink wrap, that from apparently 2011. This I haven't gotten around to building yet, but something to consider. Here is one of the Revel Pro Finish models. I did this one up already. The video on this one should be uploaded within the next couple days. And I've also got the other two I still have to get around to building. Here's the AMT version of a much newer sample of the Revel Pro Finish, but this one here being more of a snap fit kit. Then here we have the 65 Chevy Chevelle wagon. That there, I might wait on it for a little bit, might get to it soon, not sure. Ford Edsel, this is the Edsel gasser that I built up that's inside this box. Then this one here, the 66 Lincoln Continental. This is the 3-in-1 where you could do it as just a stock convertible, highly customized, and as seen here, the Fantasy Wagon, which I did that up as sort of a gift build for a friend, but still have it with me for now. Then got the Stingray Dragster, and if you're wondering, no, this is not the recent re-release version. This is one from 2009, and as you can see, still in the shrink wrap. If anything, this is essentially the same as the newly released one, so depending on if I feel like it, I'll get around to building this as well. And then down below we got the 78 Dodge D150, which I built up alright, which turned into a junker build, as a lot of time with trucks like these Dodges, you tend to see them all rotted out and used as farm trucks. So that was the look I was going for on that. Then a little bit something more unique, the Dodge Ram 50, essentially based on a Mitsubishi mini truck. This one here is a early 2000s AMT that it was one of my first kits that I've ever built, and I'll show you soon, but this was one of the kits that was really decent for skill level. Then down below here, we've got behind the Ferrari, we've got the AMT 53 Ford, which I did up as a custom hot rod. And how I was mentioning a flathead for that 32 Ford. That's the one that was out of this kit. So I used the DeSoto V8 that came with the kit, put into this truck. So made that into a hot rod truck. So then you can use the extra engine for something else. Then moving along, got the 62 Buick Electra 225 customizing kit. This one here is want to be tested. I've been trying to test out a few things with this, so I've got somewhat assembled, but not fully. So there will likely be a video on this eventually, but not for the time being. Down below here we got the 69 Ford Torino Talladega. For this kit here, I built it as a Torino Cobra, as for this one, it's got a nose cone that is a real pain to line up. So, ended up just gluing the front grille section to the body, and didn't do anything fancy with it, but except give it a custom paint. For the, down here, got the Amt 1950 Chevy Stepside, which is the customized version, which there is the newer version of this kit that's been released where you can build it stock or custom. This one here is strictly custom, so you get the special parts, but none of the stock stuff. My big plan with this originally was to swap out the GM inline 6 and put a GM V8 into it, but don't have a correct engine that fits inside the truck correctly. So that's going to be waiting a while. And then we got the 39/40 Ford sedan. This one here I've started, but ended up not getting around to fully finishing it. So this is one that I probably will want to get done. Then down here we got the AMT Superstones 78 Ford pickup that I did make a replica of a real truck off of, which back in the day, this is like 2 or 3 years ago. So this kit here, it was the parts that were in it felt pretty easy to put together, but of course as time's moved on, the molding has been worn out, or at least have I find, so it's a little bit of a complex build in order to get everything correctly. And then here we have, I believe is the 62 Pontiac Catalina, which is the customizing kit, which features a bunch of custom parts, which, as you can see, I haven't opened this box up, and I got this kit about, I don't know, 6 to 8 months ago. So there's that on the waiting list. Then down here got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles monster truck. This I did an unboxing. This here I did an unboxing for earlier this year. Now the thing here with this, I've been trying to get this built up, but I ended up losing the engine for this. So I've been looking around a lot in order to try and find the engine, which thankfully I did. I found it in one of my other parts bins that I never look in. So I'm glad to have the engine for this. So this will likely get fully built if anyone's interested. So there's that. One of my first monster truck kits, by the way. And then down here we have the exotic cars Ferrari Testerosa, which I bought from an antique store. It was pretty much already pre-painted, a lot of it, and just needed to be assembled, which I did that, but found out that there's the rear engine cover that was missing. So, if anything, I haven't... So, the kit was fully built, but missing that, and pretty much just left it as is. Then up here we got the Monogram Bmw 635 CSI, which was a kit that I built late last year, and it was one of the best. I felt like it was one of the best kits that I built in a while, and of course for a late 70s, early 80s kit, the tooling was rather new, so all the kits felt like they went together quite easily. And up here we got some Lindbergh kits. First one here is the 97 Ford F-150 4x4, which was a pretty decent kit with a lot of detail. Now the one problem I did find with this is the decals were deteriorated, so when I was trying to use them, a lot of them would fall apart. So I was not really happy with that, but the build I did with it turned out really nice in the end. Then here we have the Don Nicholson's 61 Impala Super Stock, which this one here is mostly can be built up as a stock vehicle, but ideally is meant for a race vehicle. So that I still need to, parts are still sealed in the baggies, but need to get around to figure out what to do with this kit depending on what direction I want to go with it. Then here, got some Monogram kits. No, not Monogram. Mobius kits. This one here of the 1970 F100, which I think is a pretty good looking truck. Then did a little bit different than my version. I really like this reddish brown, so did a color like this and then do it in a two-tone fashion. So get to show that one as well. Then finally we have the 53 Hudson Hornet, which I bought last month, which I still have yet to fully go through the parts, see what the kit's like. But if it's anything like the Mobius Ford, it'll be a fairly easy build and quite straight up, even though this one here is more meant to be a race car. But doing a heritage race vehicle doesn't seem like that bad of an idea. Okay. So, getting a little bit below the shelf, I have this kit here, the Galaxy Limited 21-foot tag-along trailer. That was part of my race build. So, I've got that in here. Now, the annoying thing about this is that the box is nice, but the problem is that no matter how you display the trailer in the box, whether it's upright or on its side, it's too big for the box, so I just have to have it tossed down under here. And then here is some of my donor kits that I have for that I've taken parts from. So first off, we've got this Monogram 98 Corvette, which, let me just show you with this one. So, I originally was building this one, but when I painted the interior, it started to crackle really badly. I think it was probably some of the paint that I was using at the time. So, I was really upset about that. And the fact that it was actually, the kit was missing quite a few parts, wasn't that bad for it being a loss. So, I do have the engine for it, but what I'm thinking of is, since I got the extra body, that I'll probably never use, I might just use this as a paint testing platform, but I don't know, if anyone's interested in this body, I can arrange something, but if not, this will just be a blank canvas for me to test on. So there's that. And then, along with some other kits that I've got the Bmt Dragster Two Pack, which looks really nice. But what I wanted to do with this is that I wanted to take the parts and create my own dragsters. So, like say I've got a basic car kit, create something out of these parts. So, the kit's relatively full of just random parts. And yeah. Then there's this kit. Then there's the Amt Fireball 500, which I built up. But with this one here, I ended up having to take the tires from this kit to work with another build. So for this one here, it's just a basic body, engine, and chassis with no wheels or axles. So maybe I can think of something to do with this. Not entirely sure. And then down here, got this 72, this really old MPC kit. Now, thing with this one here was, as cool as it is, the kit was in really rough shape, and And with that, a lot of the pieces were bent. Nothing went together correctly when I tried to build it, which was really unfortunate, as this here is in really unique kit. And this here having a 305 instead of the 426 goes to show with the era how this was around the era where the Dodge Daytona was too powerful of a car, so had a lot of power restrictions, leading it not to do very well in later seasons. But box condition, it's got some creases here around the side and around the corners, but overall it's not in bad shape. And then we've got the 77 Firebird, which I did my own custom paint job with it, which originally turned out fine, but I ended up realizing I had to use a bunch of parts off of this for a certain build that I otherwise didn't have pieces for. So if anything, this is just like the Fireball 500. It's just a body and chassis car with nothing else. Then, finally, here we got the Amt 56 Ford Victoria, which was one of my first attempts of creating a custom race car, but at the time, didn't really have the skill, and I wanted to try something out, but didn't have the parts at the time, so it was okay, but nothing really fancy. So that's pretty much what I've got for kits. I've got more kits in storage that I still have yet to get out, plus the ones I might have featured in other videos. And then, for those wondering, this here is just a X-Mod RC car that a friend gave to me. Now, this is about similarly around 124, 125th scale. Now, the problem with this I found is that with some of the electricals, it doesn't fully work. So, who knows, I might get around to actually experimenting with the car, getting to work properly. But in time being, it's just been sitting for about a couple months now. Okay. Then down below here, got some of my Hot Wheels stuff, which I've got a few cases of stuff. Then in this tub here, it's got some sliding drawers, which got some stuff in it, plus the container, as well as some more stuff in the back, as well as another case here. Here's a wolf sculpture that I've had for a while. Have yet to place that in my workspace for decoration. Okay, and now to a little bit of a surprise thing that kind of got me into the modeling stuff. So, as you can see here, this is a little bit of a diorama junkyard. This here is originally how I got a little bit into the mainstream modeling. So with this, I've pretty much been one for crafting and working on stuff. So using popsicle sticks and super glue and skill level at the time, built a little bit of a workshop area. And then it's nothing really fancy, as this was a couple years ago, so have a full-on removable roof. And inside have the garage doors with some railings. Then down below, tire rack, a shelf of stuff, and a specialty room. Then down below here, some some of the stuff I have made earlier was I did a little bit of making some custom car hoists. So for here, get the van out of here. And not sure if many of you would know what vehicle this is from. But if you do, congratulations. But yeah, so this one my earlier Hot Wheels customizations. Then here I got a 4-post car lift, which was just made out of popsicle sticks, which I did about 2018, 2019-ish. Then over here, I did a 2-post car lift, and I had the positioning up in the air to represent a vehicle being worked on. So in this case, like this Ferrari, it'd be put on the lift, so you have a little bit of room to work underneath. And depending on the vehicle, you could probably park a vehicle underneath, but realistically you wouldn't. So I have here some. Then this here was this was the disposal truck, which was used for both transport and drop off of junk. As you can see here, a bunch of garbage, as well as a little tote trailer. Then here's some other stuff. This one here would have been a majorette box truck, but I lost the box a long time ago, so I made a little wooden ramp deck or a little wooden flatbed out of it with wooden sides. And then have this Hot Wheels fire truck. Now originally with this, it was the full fire truck and the ladder was missing. So what I did was cut the back half off to make a crew cab flatbed truck, which is long enough to park your average vehicle on, say like this car here. It fits on there perfectly, and transport stuff around. And then one of my greater things I did was I had this what is this, DAF cab over truck, but it was missing a trailer. But I liked the red, orange, yellow that goes onto it, so I decided to build a matching trailer using popsicle sticks and super glue. So built it, made it big enough so I could store 2 vehicles in here. It's not really the fanciest of builds, but it was with what I had of the experience at the time, and using some toothpicks made a folding ramp. Then the car in here. This was another one of my earlier customs where I took a basic Maserati, cut the roof off to make it seem like one of those old vintage half cab cars where it doesn't have a full roof, but only roof for the back passengers, which I thought at the time was pretty cool. Didn't do much else with it besides give it a new paint job and cleaned up the interior. So there's pretty much that. Then right here's this was the drawing that I did about 2 years ago now of my character Travolta now. Yeah, this was something that I drew on my own. At the time, I was just learning drawing, and this took me a while to do. So, if for those wondering, that's who Travolta looks like. And then, going along, got some more more diecast stuff. Got some chargers, General Lee's to be exact. One that's in much newer shape and the beat up one. Got some Lego trucks. And got this big Technic truck that I pretty much had on display, but because it's a fairly sizable vehicle, and comparing it with roughly a 1/64 scaled vehicle, there's a little bit of the size comparison. But so yeah, so just a case of needing to find space for that. So yeah. And now I'll show you some of the models that I have built up. So right here are some of the stuff that I've got done. So these here are a bunch of stuff that I've done over the couple years. The bumper on the Bronco here fell off before filming and didn't get around to fully gluing it, so that'll get done afterwards. And here's just some trucks. So starting over here, there's just some Nylon Trucks. This one here is a Fire Chief truck. Then tow truck. And here we got the newer Lego Technic Mac Anthem tractor trailer unit, which I think was a pretty nicely done truck. Then starting off with the kits, this is the this is the Ram 50 that I built up, which for this I think was a fairly simple build. Yeah, tires aren't glued on, so that's why they fell off. But had some stickers. Had a sticker pack that I decided to use on this to give it a little bit some more physique to it, just to make it a little bit cooler. And here we got that Mobius 1970 Ford. And with this, hood fell off. So with this one here, the parts like the front bush bar, roll bar, and tonneau cover, these weren't originally part of the kit, but more from the Amt 78 Ford truck that I had but didn't use. Then we got the Bronco, which I think is a really nicely done kit. Which on this one here, when I was building it, lost the hangers for the hooks for the rear tire carrier, so that's why the rear spare tire isn't on it. And this is the Amt 78 Ford that apparently is quite a controversial kit, saying that nothing of it goes together right. But I would more think it's because it's been released since 2018 and it hasn't been given a break since. So it will need a lot of work. And for this truck here, I did end up updating it. So for this era of truck, it would have been a married mounted transfer case on the 3/4 ton 1 tons. But I did have a custom rear drive shaft, but as you can see, that has fallen out, that I have to get reinstalled. But when the truck's sitting, you don't really notice it that much. Then this was one of the first kits that I did interior customization on. So have the matching green seats. Might be a little bit hard to tell, but have a gear shifter, the fake wood grain interior that you would have gotten on these on the higher trim models of these Ford trucks, and then the beige stuff down below there, that is to represent a floor mat, which otherwise a truck like this would just have the regular shag carpet. So there's that. And then I've got, and here's the Revel 1980s Ford pickup, which I did as a beater, being all rotted out, and more oriented as an off-road truck. So, pretty much took the parts from the GMC Deserter kit to make it look more aggressive with the front bush bar and the more aggressive tread than what you otherwise would have gotten out of a Revel kit. And then here we got the 97 Ford. Now this one here was that I built up as a diorama build. So as you can see here, a bunch of dust on it, but not in bad shape. It's got the engine. This kit here has the 4.6 liter V8, which, unlike my truck, which has got the 6.2 V6, which isn't too bad of a truck, but this era of truck is debatable between people. And similarly to my truck, it's got 4-wheel drive and it's got the 5-speed. But looking at it now, I do kind of wish I added more detail onto the kit. Then back here have some logs using some old sprue. Give it a little bit more detail to it. Then we got a Barago metal kit, 90s, 1997 Porsche 911 Carrera. So this one here was this was a metal kit that I built up not that long ago. And then to go with that 97 Ford, I built this diorama here. The painting I had for a while, but Garrett built using just some cardboard and some grass-like fabric and some weeds. So then over top, you can have the truck on the trail to give it a more, and then with the backdrop, give it a more realistic look, being on a trail road near the lake. So there's that. And then a little bit of some more die-cast stuff. This was something I made for art class back in grade school, which was about 4 years ago now. Well, 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. So this here was using some Hot Wheels. These were using the Hot Wheels Glow Racers mystery packs, and with that I figured I want to do futuristic scenery, so I have floating roads with the cars racing by. So got the 2 cars on the side and 3 cars on top. And this here has pretty much was used with cardboard, coat hanger wire, and a stocking in order to get the looks of the bending and to make the gravitational road how it looks. So that there will probably do it for this video, and so if any of you are interested, definitely, depending on which ones become more popular, I'll take a look at some of these kits, show you what I've built of it, and then seeing how I can improve it for later on. So we'll definitely appreciate the feedback on that, and see you next time.